7:02 right now, and we are using the Associated Press as our election results source for the national and statewide races, and the AP has called the presidential race for Donald Trump.
Yeah, he will be the 47th president of the United States and only the second man outside of Grover Cleveland to serve 2 non-consecutive terms. So it is a complete comeback for the 45th president. Here's a look at the electoral vote count at the moment. Trump already projected to have won 277 electoral votes, 7 more than he needed. Kamala Harris has 224. And if you can't really tell, it's not always easy to see. This could wind up being a huge win for Trump by any metric you want to use. The AP still has Trump leading in Nevada, Arizona, Michigan, and Alaska. He's also leading the current popular vote by about 3.5 percentage points and is over 50%, more than he got in either of the previous 2 presidential elections. As you can imagine, a lot of excitement in West Palm Beach, Florida at Mar-a-Lago as Trump took the stage to address supporters last night.
Vice President Harris did not speak to supporters last night at Howard University in Washington, D.C. A crowd gathered at her alma mater to hear her speak. The Harris campaign told Fox News that she is expected to speak later today. Incumbent U.S. Representative Johanna Hayes will continue to represent Connecticut in Washington. Overnight, we learned that she did win her competitive rematch race in the 5th District.
And it looks like she won it by a little bit more than she did last time when it was a real squeaker. Now, her Republican opponent, former State Senator George Logan, has already conceded. Let's get out to Fox 61's Angelo Bavaro. He's live in Waterbury. Angelo.
Tim, Erica, good morning. And the AP is reporting about 96% of the vote is in right now. And Hayes is leading Logan 53 to 47%. This is important to note because, as you mentioned, this is a rematch of 2022. Back in 2022, this was a super close race. Hayes won that race by just about 2,000 votes. So looking at the percentages this time around and the vote count, she was able to open up that margin. And now she is set to enter Congress once again to serve in her 4th term as a U.S. rep. That win dashes the hopes of Republicans who saw a chance here to flip a seat in a state where they have not won a congressional election in 18 years. In her campaign, Hayes touted herself as a lawmaker who has delivered for the district in both funding and legislation. And Hayes also campaigned on her support for bills to lower drug prices and address gun violence. She addressed supporters last night and thanked them for their work in turning out the vote.
We organized, we mobilized. I mean, we were out there knocking on doors, talking to people, and we defined this race, which is very different than I did last time. I let my opponent define himself, thinking that people would understand on their own. We defined this race, and I think it made all the difference.
Now, George Logan has conceded the race early this morning after it was called. He released a statement on X, formerly Twitter, writing, quote, "I just spoke with Congresswoman Johanna Hayes and congratulated her on a hard-fought victory. I want to take this opportunity to thank my family, friends, supporters, and staff who have been by my side for the last 3 years, and especially the people of the 5th Congressional District. It has been an extremely rewarding experience to meet you and your families and enjoy the vibrant communities that span our 41 towns." Now, this district, the 5th Congressional District in Connecticut, that really takes up a lot of the northwestern part of Connecticut, includes lots of different areas, suburbs represented there, cities, as well as rural areas as well. We're live in Waterbury this morning. I'm Angelo Bavaro, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Okay, Angelo, thank you. Well, Connecticut's congressional delegation is remaining blue, and that's not just the 5 U.S. House seats. There was also a Senate seat up for election as well.
Yeah, more on that. Fox 61's Kaye Collins is joining us live from Hartford with a breakdown of those election results. Kaye, good morning.
Erica, Tim, you said it. Democrats overwhelmingly coming out on top in this local election, both for the congressional races and in the Senate race as well. Now, that race was actually called pretty early last night in favor of incumbent Democrat Chris Murphy, who was opposed by his Republican challenger, Matthew Corey. Now, both candidates had expressed some cautious optimism as voters were heading to the polls throughout the day yesterday. Fox 61 was able to catch up with each of those candidates shortly after the race was called.
Obviously, big differences between he and I, and again, grateful to the people of Connecticut for giving me the chance to do the job. And of course, my job is to represent everybody in Connecticut, not just the people that voted for me.
Coming from somebody that's a blue-collar, small business owner, understanding the economy, understanding how people are really hurting around Connecticut, just know that I was there for you and did the best I could, no matter what the outcome is.
Now switching to the remaining congressional races. In District 1, Congressman John Larson took home the win with nearly 61% of the vote. The 2nd congressional district was a matchup between Democrat Joe Courtney and Republican Mike France. Courtney won that one with nearly 58% of the vote. Over in District 3, Rosa DeLaura defeated Michael Massey with nearly 55% of the vote. And in District 4, Jim Himes had just over 57% of the vote compared to his Republican opponent Michael Goldstein's 41% and independent candidate Benjamin Wesley's 1.62%. Now from here, these election votes will have to be confirmed. Election officials here in our state will check for any possible errors. That's all done by Friday at around 9 a.m. From flash forward now, to next week, November 12th, is when the state registrars of voters will have to file these votes, and that will be the next step until we continue on to confirm these votes in the next couple of months. For now, we're live here in Hartford this morning. Kaye Collins, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.